Hello, welcome back to Entertainment Hub for another movie recap. Before we go towards the movie, make sure to like and subscribe. A man stranded in the Arctic after a plane crash must decide whether to remain in the relative safety of his makeshift camp or embark on a deadly trek through the unknown in hopes of making it out alive. At the beginning of this story, we see a man named Mikkelsen in the middle of the thick and thin layers of Arctic. Mikkelsen has been trapped here for many days and he is waiting for help. He also has a plane that has crashed. Actually, he was passing by with his friends here. But his plane crashed and all his friends died, and he was left alone. He also had a small machine which he used as a signal for help. If there is any helicopter around, it will contact him, but after trying many times, he didn't find any sign of a helicopter or human because this is a very hard place where no one ever comes. Here, he has a lot of snow on top. There are small huts to catch fish. He has seen many fish and keeps himself alive eating those fish. Mikkelsen goes to the top of the mountain the next morning where he once again opens his machine to contact, but again he has no contact with anyone. Here we see some stones. He is talking about stones. Actually, they are his friends who had died, and he buried them here and put stones on their graves. Now Mikkelsen comes back to his plane. He sees that the fish he had kept there are not there anymore. Mikkelsen thinks that there must be a survivor like him, but soon he sees the footprints of a polar bear. He realizes that there is a polar bear that can attack him, and he runs inside his plane. Now Mikkelsen has a fear of polar bears in his heart which are very dangerous. The next day he goes again up on the mountain with his machine so that he can contact someone. And when it moves the machine's handle, it lights up a green light. This means that there is a helicopter around him, but due to the snow, he couldn't see anything. Only then it sees that there is a helicopter in front of it. He makes a flare and burns and the helicopter sees him. The helicopter starts coming towards him, but here the helicopter comes into the storm and crashes. Mikkelsen runs to the helicopter and sees that the pilot of the helicopter has died. But there was a girl in the helicopter and she was injured very badly. Mikkelsen breaks the door of the helicopter, puts that girl out, and saves her from dying. Then Mikkelsen comes back to his plane crying that girl with great difficulty. He takes her to his plane where the girl is conscious. He tries to talk to her but the girl doesn't speak English, and the girl's language is not able to speak to Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen sees that there is a very big wound on her stomach. He puts stitches on her wound and the girl becomes unconscious again. After that Mikkelsen writes a note for her that he will come back soon. He goes to the helicopter where he finds the pilot's dead body. He buries the pilot there and puts stones on it. After which he checks the helicopter where he gets an Arctic map. That is, he can get out of here with this map. Along with it he gets some frozen noodles and a stove. He has been eating raw fish for the past few days. And now because he has a stove, he can cook and eat. Mikkelsen gets a photo of the injured girl and pilot there and they have a small child with them. He understands that this is a family, and pilot has died because of the Mikkelsen. Pilot brought his helicopter to the other side, which caused his helicopter crash. This is a big guilt in Mikkelsen's heart. Now he takes all the stuff from the helicopter and comes to his plane. Then he hears something from outside, and when he goes to the place where he had put a trap for the fish, he sees that a huge fish has stuck in his fund. He brings fish back to his plane and burns the stove to make noodles and fish. He was eating raw food for the last 6 months. Actually, he was stuck here for the last 6 months and today he has eaten cooked food for the first time in 6 months. He also feeds that girl some food, and then he checks the map which he found in the girl's plane. He finds out that there is a point many kilometers away where people come from helicopters, where they can be rescued, and now he decides that he will take the girl and leave, because the cold is going to increase even more. The temperature will reach 50 degrees from -40, and no one can get in this cold. So he decides that he will take the girl with him to that point. Although this is very difficult. And Mikkelsen decides that he will save the girl's life. That is why he catches a lot of fish. He also keeps some water with him. And in the plane he leaves a note that we were 2 here. But now we are going north. And that girl puts her sleeping bag inside the bag and puts it on a plastic tube. And starts to move forward. And Mikkelsen himself is also very weak here. That is why his moves are very slow. He keeps talking to that girl. He has a purpose now. He wants to save the girl's life at any cost. After many hours, when he checks the map, he finds out that he is about 45 kilometers away. He will be about 7 days away from the pass. Because there is very less speed in the snow. The power in Sati Mikkelsen is also very low. And the biggest danger is the polar bear, which is somewhere around this area. After the whole day, it gets dark. Now, he will have to sleep somewhere safe at night, where the cold is low. Because at night, the temperature of the cold is very low. So, he makes a loop by clinging to the snow so that he can escape from the cold. She takes the girl inside where she cooks. Mikkelsen spends the whole night with that girl in the loop. The next morning, he decides her journey again. Mikkelsen is already tired from before. But at any cost, he wants to save that girl. So, he keeps moving forward. Then, a very high cliff comes in front of him. He can climb alone in this cliff, but he cannot take the girl on his own. He takes out the map from his pocket and sees the map, with which he finds out that there is another way to cross this cliff. But if he goes the other way, it will take more than 4-5 days. And he does not have enough food supply to survive for so long. So, he has to take the girl on the cliff, but he goes up the cliff first. After looking and judging the height of the cliff, he comes down. Nad starts pulling the girl with the rope. He is slowly pulling her on the rope. But then, suddenly the rope slips from his hands. And she reaches the same place while walking the girl. Mikkelsen realizes that it is impossible to pull the girl with the rope. That is why, he takes his entire luggage down. He realizes that if he has to save the girl, he will have to cross the other long road. And now slowly he starts to move forward on the same long path. Here the girl is very sick, so he is already more sick than before. Mikkelsen keeps on dragging the girl and night appears. At night she will have to take shelter somewhere, because the cold at night increases. The polar bear is also dangerous, only then he looks like a little monkey in the middle of the rocks. He realizes that this is the polar bear's body, but now he has no other option but to go inside. Mikkelsen is lucky that there is no polar bear inside. The girl goes inside, where he cooks, but now his gas is also gone. After this he will not be able to eat. The day is passing and Mikkelsen's problems are increasing. Now when Mikkelsen is in the cave, only then he hears someone's voice. He realizes that the polar bear is outside and only then the polar bear tries to come inside. But Mikkelsen somehow throws the flare out of her that makes the polar bear run away from there. Mikkelsen spends the whole night in fear. The next morning when he comes out, the polar bear does not appear there. That is why he quickly takes the girl out of this place. After walking for hours, a storm comes in front of them. The stretcher on whom he has laid the girl, he uses it to escape from the storm. He makes its face up and catches the girl and goes to sleep there. After a while, when the storm calms down, he sees that he is completely crushed inside the snow. Mikkelsen also checks the girl. He sees that her mouth is bleeding. He checks her wound and now she has an infection. He realizes that it is impossible to save the girl because there is no solution in her body. That is why he decides to leave the girl here. Alone he decides to continue his journey ahead. That is why he keeps the family photos with her and leaves her alone. While doing this, he feels very pain, but he has no other way, and now when he goes a little further, he falls into a pit, which breaks his leg. Here, Mikkelsen realizes that he did very wrong leaving the girl there. He also realizes that maybe she is alive because of that girl. Maybe God also wants to save his life due to that girl. That is why somehow he closes his leg and comes up again and goes to that girl. That girl is now awake. She asks for water from Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen gives him water. After that he keeps that girl on the sled and starts pulling her again. His leg bone has broken, so he slowly moves forward with the help of a wooden stick. While doing this, it's very painful, but he wants to save the girl at any cost. That is why he slowly moves forward. He reaches that rescue point which is at a height. But he cannot take the girl up, that is why she goes alone first. She sees that there is a helicopter there. He does not have any chance of his happiness. He comes back down and takes the girl up slowly. And now the helicopter and the people in front of him are very far away from here. Although Mikkelsen lights a flare, but they cannot see his flare. Then Mikkelsen fires his jacket, but it is also useless. They cannot see that burning fire. Mikkelsen pulls the girl out of the sleeping bag, and they both make a sound. But until then they fly away from the helicopter. Mikkelsen and the girl are completely exhausted. They understand that it is their life's end. Mikkelsen holds the girl's hand and falls on the snow. He says that because of me, your husband died and now your life is going to be end. After that, the eyes of Mikkelsen are also close with the girl. Suddenly we see that Mikkelsen's hair started moving. Actually, a helicopter has come after him.
Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification, so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.